Continuing from verse 20. And God said, Let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that has life, and fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven. Notes. Here the creatures of the sea are distinguished from all previous creations, and in particular from vegetation, as being possessed of a vital principle. This does not, of course, contradict the well-known truth that plants are living organisms, only that the life principle of the animal kingdom is different from that of the vegetable kingdom. Scripture. And God created great whales and every living creature that moves, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind, and God saw that it was good. Notes. Some 10 times in the first chapter of Genesis the phrase, after his kind, or something similar is used. This completely shoots down the theory of evolution. Science has never been able to cross that barrier, and in fact will never be able. In other words, there is no such thing as an animal that is half fish and half land animal. As well, there is no such thing as a fish that is half whale and half shark. The barrier regarding the different kinds remains, and ever shall remain. Verse 22. And God blessed them, saying, Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let fowl multiply in the earth. Notes. It may be asked as to why God did not bless the plant life. Of them Moses simply says that God saw that it was good, but he did not bless them. But here God begins a new way of propagation, namely that from living bodies come forth another similar living bodies, which is not true of trees and plants. The pear tree, for example, does not bring forth another pear tree, but only a pear, while a bird produces a bird, and a fish, and etc., and etc. Here, then, is a new creative work, for a living body propagates others out of itself. In fact, the blessing of God means propagation. His blessing is just as powerful to propagate as his curse is to cut off. Verse 23. I hope I said those words right. And the evening and the morning were the 5th day. Verse 24. And God said, Let the earth bring forth a living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping thing, and beast of the earth after his kind. And it was so. Notes. Proclaims the fact that God leaves nothing empty that he has made, but furnishes all with his stores and riches. Verse 25. And God made the beast of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creeps upon the earth after his kind. And God saw that it was good. Notes. Tells us unequivocally that God designed each species of the animal kingdom in such a way that it cannot be crossed. Verse 26. And God said, Let us make man in our own image, after our likeness. Ooh, boy, we got a lot of notes here. Notes. The creation of man was preceded by a divine consultation. As well, the pronouns us and our proclaim the consultation held by the 3 persons of the divine Trinity, who were one in the creative work. Image and likeness enable us to have fellowship with God. However, it does not mean we are gods or can become gods. In our image, after our likeness, actually refers to true righteousness and holiness. You don't believe me? Look it up in Ephesians chapter 4, verse 24. I hope I got that right. Scripture. And let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and above every creeping thing that creeps down upon the earth. Notes. This dominion was given by God to man, and is always subject to God. The relationship of man to the balance of creation is now defined to be one of rule and supremacy. The sphere of his lordship is from the lowest to the highest of the subjects placed beneath his sway. Verse 27. And God created man in his own image. Notes. The word man should have the definitive article and should read the man, Of course, that is Adam. The same man, Adam, spoken of in chapter 2, verse 7, these are not therefore two accounts of the creation of man, but one divine statement, Scripture. And in the image of God created he him, Scripture. The image of God was lost at the fall. However, the restoration of the image was carried out at the cross. But the completion of that restoration will not take place until the first resurrection. That's something that's way far out from the book of Genesis. Scripture. Male and female created he them. Scripture represents, at least as far as we know, the first time that God has created the female gender, at least as it regards intelligent beings. There is no record of any female angels. Are you listening, Catholic Church? Verse 28. And God blessed them. Notice, again, this speaks of the ability to reproduce. Scripture. And God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth. Notice, the word replenish carries the idea of a former creation on the earth before Adam and Eve. According to Isaiah 14 and Ezekiel 28, Lucifer ruled this world for an undetermined period of time, and did so in righteousness and holiness as a beautiful angel created by God. If in fact he did rule the world at that time, it would stand to reason that there had to be some type of creation on the earth for him to rule. Now the word replenish refers to that creation. Scripture. And subdue it. Notes, and that man has done, most definitely. However, he would have done it much sooner, except for we had to fall. Scripture. And have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moves upon the earth. Verse 29. And God said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat. Notes, refers to the fact that both animals and mankind were vegetarians before the fall. Incidentally, this has changed after the flood, recorded in Genesis 9. Verse 30. And to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creeps down upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat, and it was so. Notes, this tells us that animals were not originally created as predators. In other words, all animals were then vegetarian as well, which means that all, and not just some, were completely docile. Verse 31. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. Notes, this means that it was not simply good, but good exceedingly. It is not man alone whom God surveys, but the complete cosmos, with man as its crown and glory. Scripture. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day. Notes, the word evening signified the fact that the new day began at sunset instead of 12 midnight, as it presently does in our reckoning of time. We will begin in chapter 2. Thank you.